Grateful for having you here. Welcome and welcome back for those of you that are sticking around here on this channel. So today we're going to talk about showing up for yourself, becoming high value. And this is a topic that is so important. It is foundational. I'm going to talk more about that. And it is also something that is very honoring. Before we start, this was a topic from one of my viewers, so thank you so much for suggesting this topic. I think it's a so loving suggestion. Self-love is, according to me, also an attitude. Self-love is an attitude to taking care of yourself, and it's truly the foundation for everything. It is the foundation for the ascension part. It is the foundation for internal growth. It is the ascension for leveling up, doing things that you want. It is the foundation for attracting a partner. It is the foundation for attracting your dream job. It is the foundation for everything. Self-love is in all levels, like all different levels, to the most like surface levels into the very, very deep. Self-love is something that is so honoring to work with, and it's also very fun when we start to work with that a lot, because some of us actually have to learn how to have that type of attitude towards ourselves. Many of us have actually grown up in a very harsh environment. I believe that's why we sometimes have a little bit difficulties with this theme and with having a self-love attitude. Some of us have been, or many of us have been growing up in a environment where our parents maybe treated us in a harsh way. They used harsh words and so forth because themselves were quite harsh towards themselves. It can also be in friend groups, in certain type of social settings, from your teachers, from the society in general. Like, we've been growing up in a very harsh environment. This is something which is makes us need to take on a certain type of protection and a certain type of being and a certain type of almost beating ourselves up so that we don't need to take that from someone else. Unfortunately, that is what happens sometimes. And when I started to really realize that, wow, okay, everything is related, like my self-worth, my self-acceptance, my self-esteem, all of that was really related, and all of that came from that I didn't really know what unconditional love was. I didn't really know how I truly loved myself and how I treated myself, how I behaved towards myself in order for me to show myself love. So that was the starting point for me when I understood that, and I understood what I did towards myself that wasn't really like loving acts. I understood how it is actually an approach, an attitude to have a certain type of love to yourself. Because if you've been growing up in some certain type of harsh circumstance where people been having harsh words towards you or whatever, and you're taught yourself to like be harsh towards yourself as well, through self-blame, through feeling that you are not being seen, through feeling that you're not liked or whatever it might be, right? Then you also have this kind of, you need to practice it, to say it at least. Okay, so you need to start to practice it. If you don't need to practice it, that's good, that's loving for you. But many of us, we actually need to start to learn and practice how it is that we are feeling love. And that's why I started with having a self-love attitude, because with that attitude I had certain type of thoughts, and I made certain type of actions towards myself so that I could teach myself how to love myself. And I remember actually when I was writing in my diary for a couple of years ago, I was like, I told myself that I love myself today. I actually love myself. That was a deep feeling and deep love towards myself, because I was at that point when I had finally, I could really feel deep inside that I love myself. I love myself so much. And after that, my life been improving more and more. I've been attracting and having so much more lovable environments, jobs, people, partner, and so forth, and relationships in general. So it's really about tapping into you so that you can build a relationship with you, because it always starts from within. always starts from within. So that is a short but a long intro, because this is a grand theme also. It is a very broad theme. I often say that if you have a question like, I deal with low self-esteem, let's say like that. Many times what happens when I ask like, okay, what's about the self-esteem? People are not able to explain what it is exactly. And why I asked that question is because I know that I couldn't answer that before either. So I kind of ignored my self-esteem, my lower self-esteem, so to say, because I couldn't tell it in those words. I only started to get aware of that, oh, maybe there's something with my esteem, maybe there's something with my love. As I said in the beginning, right, it's all related. But I didn't really reflect upon like more what it was, because self-esteem, just throwing self-esteem to your internal self is like, it's a word it's so broad, it's so big. What about my self-esteem, right? So when I started to go deeper and deeper into, okay, self-blame, criticizing myself, finding these type of being very, very specific with what exactly it meant for me, then I can also start to change that, so to say. So that is just a little bit side note for this one today as well. But we will go into 3 different things that I think is so important in regards to learn how to and practice how to have a self-love attitude and showing up for yourself, and by that becoming high value for yourself, for others, for the planet, just being a high vibe, high value person, right? So the first thing, I have talked about it, but it's on a foundational attitude. So I will give you a little bit homework directly here, and this is in regards to that you are checking in with your worth. Because many times when we have like difficulties in understanding how we can love ourselves more and treat ourselves better and so forth, it relates to our self-worth. And in the beginning, as I said, if you have been treated and taught to treat yourself in a harsh way, then it's also a way that you have to practice it, right? And because of that, we need to start with doing certain type of practices that works for our mind, so it's structured enough, but at the same time it's also helping our internal self. So one of those lists that I started to do was my worth list. And this is a beautiful list where I started to actually plot down like, I am worthy of, because of. And because of is one of the most important things in this practice. And this is, you can remove that a little bit later if you really want to practice like unconditional love and just loving you because you are you, right? But in the beginning, when we have separated ourselves from our worth and separated ourselves so much, it's quite of a big leap to say directly like, I'm worthy just because I'm breathing, because I am. It is a big jump. So if you in one way or another feel that that is a big jump, I would actually suggest that start with that one, and later on you can start to practice deeper and deeper how you are worthy just as you are. But in the beginning, you need something to tell yourself that I'm worthy because. So I started to write down things, how I wanted to be treated, how I wanted to feel in certain type of relationships, how I wanted to feel with others. Self-love is, in one way or another, the relationship with you. To explain it in a very simple way, that is how I see it, right? How you're being loving towards yourself, how you love yourself. And because of that, you can also understand a little bit better if you think through that, okay, how do I want to be treated in relationships? Because sometimes it's easier to get ourselves into this kind of third person perspective, so to say. It helps us a little bit. I am worthy of feeling seen, for instance, if you have that thing, because I am actually someone to listen to. I am worthy of being taken care of because I actually take care a lot of those around me. Whatever it is, like, don't make this logical. Don't make it a logical process. Just like I did now, just write why you are worthy, because, and let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. 20, I want you to write 20 of those ones. So this is something which I did, and I do once in a while actually, and it's quite fun to do that again a little bit later when you have increased your worth, your sense of worth, so to say, and how much easier it is, but how much it is more like, no, I'm worthy because I'm sitting here. I'm worthy. You know, it gets easier and easier to get into that kind of zone. But in the beginning, we have to do that kind of jump. So that is the first thing in the foundational attitude, which I'm seeing that is really, really helpful. Act as if you are loving yourself. Make yourself fulfill your needs. Make yourself the one and only person that giving you the needs that you need. Because many times when we feel unlovable is because there are certain type of needs in terms of love, in terms of being shown appreciation, in terms of being heard, and so forth, that haven't been fulfilled. So many times when we have different type of feelings of our worth, or feelings of that we are not lovable because of some certain type of reason, so to say, we need to fulfill those needs. It doesn't really matter who haven't fulfilled those needs or not. No, we don't do that any longer. We don't set ourselves in that kind of safe zone of just blaming someone else, so we don't need to do the internal growth work. Okay, this is about, okay, right now I feel that my needs are not fulfilled. They haven't been fulfilled, so I need to do something about it. I'm in the one that need to do something about it. And want to know a secret? When you're fulfilling your own needs, that is the most loving thing that you can do. It's so fulfilling. Someone else fulfilling some of your needs is like, oh. When you feel your own needs, when you give yourself what you truly need, it can't feel better. It doesn't feel better. Like, that is the best feeling ever. Actually, it's the best feeling ever. We also need to learn how to love ourselves in our own company. So this is about understanding and loving the relationship with us, right? And when I practiced to have this self-love attitude towards myself, I was starting to think, okay, how can I show up more for myself? What is it that I feel that I want, that I don't have, like the needs, and how can I fulfill them right here, right now? Not waiting for someone else to fulfill those needs, not waiting for being a certain setting for being able to do that. What is it that I want to do? What type of activities do I want to have? What type of holidays do I want to have? How do I want to celebrate my birthday? I totally reinvented and looked through how I, from this point and now on, want to celebrate life with me. And I started to do that. I said, okay, at that time I didn't have a partner. I was like, okay, I don't care. I can do this myself, right? Or when I just moved to Stockholm, didn't have any friends almost. I was like, okay, I want to do this with a friend now. So I go to stand-up comedy myself instead. I did a lot of things with myself, and it was actually such a fulfilling, and I don't know if you can say amusing. Can you say that? Like, amusing feeling. And yeah, it was a fun time. It was such a fun time, and I still love going out with myself. So that is also a way how we start to have this self-love attitude towards ourselves. I want to mention one little thing about boundaries, and I'm going to do this quick because I realize that I'm talking a lot today. But one thing about boundaries is that if we feel that someone's stepping onto our own boundaries, it is because we don't have boundaries towards ourselves. In order for us to have a self-love attitude, in order for us to feel greatest love towards ourselves, we have to work with our boundaries. And how we do that is that we look through everything from the small to the big details, how we are stepping on our own boundaries. So let's say that you feel that you really want to wake up early in the morning and you have 10, 15 snooze alarms. You're stepping your own boundaries there. I'm sorry to say, but you do actually. If you are working late and you're feeling that you're getting more and more tired and more depleted, but you continue, stepping on your own boundaries. Have a 2 week where you're just focusing on your boundaries. Like, how are my boundary settings? If I say that I don't want to do this towards myself, if I say that I want to go up early and I having 10, 15 snooze alarms, what is it that I'm signaling to myself then? And am I truly listening to myself? Because if I can have those boundaries, I'm saying that I'm not so important. What I tell myself, or what I truly want, my dreams, my desires, they are not so important. So I am not important. Unfortunately, that is what happens subconsciously. We push that down and pushing onto ourselves and start to blame ourselves, and so forth. So we say that I'm not so important, but I think this is important, but I'm not able to do this. I'm getting to this kind of weird spiral that is just not helpful. So whatever it is, start to write down, and then you start with one thing. The easiest thing first, then the next thing, then the next thing. So I have 2 more things to talk about today, and I know for some of you that this might be a little bit longer video, but it's so important video, so if you want to listen, you listen. Okay, so the next thing is, thank you for the reflection attitude. If you feel a certain energy from another person, that the person doesn't approve you, you feel some certain type of disapproval, you feel disliked, you feel unseen, you feel that you're not able to speak up, you're not heard. All of these feelings that you feel from another person is actually a reflection back to you to ask yourself the same question. Are there, in any type of ways, where I dislike myself? Where I don't see myself? Where I don't listen to myself? Where I judge myself, so I don't approve myself, right? Are there different parts in my life where I do this? This is one of the most important steps when really evolving and growing into our self-love attitude and getting and becoming this high value for ourselves, right? This might sound a little bit hard, but I mean it with love. If we are paying attention to how we feel from another person, we also put the responsibility away from ourselves, and we also focus a lot on that. And we can never control another person. If another person don't see you, don't hear you, you should not be with that person. You should not spend your time with that person. But it's easier said than done, right? Because I'm high value now, so I can be that quick into those considerations, right? But when you don't, when you do that, you constantly just focus on that person. So you don't focus on you. So you don't focus on the internal growth. Like every time you get some certain type of trigger from a person, every time you feel some certain type of uncomfortable feeling less than when you talk with another person or something, just like, oh, wait a minute. This is my thank you for the reflection attitude. Okay, thank you so much, person, for the reflection. You don't need to say that out loud to this person, but thank you so much for the reflection. Okay, where is the reflection? Where's the mirroring effect here now? Where do I don't see myself? Is there any certain type of way that I actually have some certain type of self-hatred towards myself? And what can I do to change that? Because it's painful and it's scary at times to realize that we don't love ourselves, we don't really like ourselves, we don't really show up for ourselves, we don't support ourselves. It is a harsh truth. But if you're at this video, I also know that you want to change that and you want to improve that. So welcome. Thank you for the reflection, right? Because now we are reflecting a higher value with each other. Now we're reflecting that we are working on and improving our self-love in this video, right? So always look at the reflection with the other people that you're meeting and what you feel from other people. When you start to see yourself, when you start to listen to yourself, when you start to like yourself, you will also attract people that have the same aspect. And also you can sometimes realize that, wow, this person didn't really dislike me. This person didn't really have these thoughts about me. This was internalized. This was what I felt. That is something which I have, with embarrassment actually, realized many years after, like, wow, I really felt that this person didn't like me or have this thought about me, but that is probably not the case. I didn't have any proof for it. And it wasn't like, sometimes you can really feel it, of course, but sometimes also, especially when you have like learn how to be very judgmental towards yourself, the truth is not always that hard that you make it to be honest with you. The third thing that I want you to take with you today in regards to this topic, and in regards to showing up for yourself, in regards to becoming high value, leveling up, having this foundation, having this self-love attitude, is the validation trap. You see, we stay stuck, our inner child stays stuck when we ask for permission, when we ask for approval, when we ask for acceptance, when we ask for being validated in one way or another externally. Okay? So, an example is, for instance, that you ask your friends every time something happens, you're very quick to ask your friends about this situation or about something, right? If you want to buy something for yourself and you're just like, oh, I want to buy, I'm just gonna go and check with my partner. Why should you take it? It's your money. Why should you check with your partner? Or you have a certain type of thoughts, you have a certain type of, you want to make a big change, or you want to make a move or whatever. Start to type in a forum like, oh, should I do this move or not? I'm a little bit, every time you do that, I said this before, it is okay to ask others for their opinions and ask others, but actually I realized that there are many times that most of the times, I don't actually need to ask someone else, because I'm the one to make the decision, right? I'm the one to have be with the consequence of that decision, be with what happens after with that decision, right? So why should I ask someone else? When I ask someone else, I also give a little bit of my own power away. It doesn't really matter if I give it away to a loving, very healthy person, or if I give it away to the opposite, right? But I give my power away a little bit. I say to myself that I am not the one to rely on. I'm not really the one to trust on. So I have to go and ask this person, even though if I really feel that I want to do this, even though I really feel that this move is the best one, or I want to buy this thing, I think it can be wise to ask this one, because I am not fully to be trusted at. Do you see? That is what we actually say to ourselves. That is actually what we put down in our subconscious mind when we asking others about their opinions in order for us to take a decision. And of course, as I said, you can always ask for questions, and that is how we evolve. And I love to ask people, especially those who I know are healthier, or in one way they have like higher consciousness or something, in certain type of questions. But I always do it, almost always do it when I have when gone through over and over again in my own head, when I know that I am kind of done with that decision. Now I just want someone else's perspective. But this is something which I'm practicing as well, because that is also a habit, right? So sometimes I'm about to ask my partner or someone else for something, right? And then I just, no, wait a minute, no, I know exactly what I should do. I know exactly how I can support myself the most. So I'm the one to be asked. Not asking someone else for permission, not asking someone else for approval, for how to dress, or approval, or whatever. Do I look nice today? No. Ask yourself, do I look nice today? Yeah, I look nice today. So great, then I look nice. I know I'm being very straightforward, but that is the power, that is the kind of frequency I want you to get into. I want you to understand how important you are, how you're fully capable of taking your own decisions and fully capable of asking yourself for permission, the only one, the only one. And that is also a way how you infusing yourself in this self-love attitude. This is also regards to excuses, that you're excusing yourself. You say, oh, sorry, sorry, you're just saying sorry for different things, right? I used to do that a lot. And many times I said sorry when the other person should say sorry. Sorry for talking, sorry for, whatever. And what I do every time is that I'm saying to myself, sorry for existing, sorry for being here. What is that about, right? I had another, exactly, over-explaining and justify. That I also want to mention a little bit quickly. Like when you you have to justify a certain type of decision, or you have to justify that you did like this, or you have to explain over and over again why you were thinking like this, or why you told this thing to a person. All of that create us uncertainty within, and uncertainty often create like this hesitation, this like, there's something wrong, like, I'm not reliable, I'm not one to trust to, why I'm not one to trust to, when we go in deeper and deeper and deeper. And it stems from not being so low into ourselves, not having that type of self-love and self-worth and self-understanding in that way, to be honest. Okay, so pay attention to, when do I over explain? Do I need to explain a fifth time? Is that even like fun to listen to when I need to over explain a fifth time? Isn't it also up a little bit to the receiver, how the receiver received the message, right? So self-love and having a self-love attitude is fun, it's easy, it's loving, it's pleasurable. It's something that is so fun to do after a while. It's so fun to show up for myself. It's so fun to feel that I'm so vibrant and I'm just seeing myself for what I am and what I'm becoming, and loving all aspects of me. Self-love attitude is really to have the habit of treating yourself good, have the habit of taking care of yourself, have the habit of trusting yourself and your decisions, right? Self-love and having a self-love attitude is the foundation for everything. And as I said in the beginning, if you want to up level, if you want to do some certain type of internal growth in any circumstance, self-love is truly the foundation. You can only actually like grow to a certain type of degree without self-love. I'm telling you, then you have to add self-love, so to say. So self-love is something that is and should be fun to work with. It should be fun to understand yourself. It should be fun to date yourself. It should be fun to spend time with yourself and understand the relationship with you. Like, why do I do this? Aha, okay, getting into that kind of vibe. Really understanding yourself at the core. That is a self-love attitude, and that is how you show up for yourself. That is how you become high value. I hope that this was so helpful for you. Like, give comments how you showing love towards yourself, so we all can also take part of that, so also others can see like, this person is doing that was a great tip. Okay, I want to implement this, right? So give all these kind of loving comments, what you do, that would be so much helpful. And also, if you want to go deeper into self-love, if you want to go deeper into show up for yourself and supporting yourself, I do have a brand new coaching package with the lowest investment prices at this time right now. Okay, it will not be as low as it is now, because this is the brand new package that I have that is called Better Vibe, and this is in regards to learn how to utilize your energies, learn how to take care and understand what give you energy and what drain you, so to say. And with that, also knowing how you can build up these internal support systems with thoughts, behaviors, attitudes that that supports you from within and show that type of self-love towards yourself, right? So this is something that which I talk about much more in that coaching package. So if you want to book a information call with me, you have the information in the description. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that you have a loving day towards yourself. I hope that you could find something that was helpful with this video today. If it is one thing, just take one thing. If it is 10 things, take 10 things. Do whatever it is that you do for yourself, for the love towards yourself. Always love yourself. Keep on listening to your within talks. Take care. See you next time. Bye.